So on the market you will find few types of front suspension designs like the MacPherson suspension, which is quite used because of the simple design and it's less expensive. So for the MacPherson suspension you will have a strut assembly which in the end will be connected to a spindle, which is this one. Is connected through some bolts here, and in the end will become an assembly. And also you will have a tire bolted in. Okay, so besides that you've got a lower control arm, something like that, and this arm will be pivoting at the chassis in this point. The other mount is at the top, which will be something like this, and this one is called the shock tower. So the suspension will be able to rotate at the top and also where it's connected with the chassis. For the alignment, the modifications are done by moving this pivot point inside and outside to change the camber, and by moving it to front and to back in this direction, if you're looking it from the top, to change the caster value. So if you tilt it to the back, you will have a positive angle, and if you move it to the front, you will have a negative angle. And also, if you change the camber angle, if you move it outside, you will have a positive angle, and on the other side will be a negative angle. One of the advantages of this type of suspension is that it's quite strong. It can take enough load because the pivot points, this one and this one, are quite far away from the place where the loads are being applied, which is at the tire. A disadvantage, it cannot take too much camber, so this will be a minus for this type of suspension. So if you want to lower the car with a MacPherson suspension, the pivot point from the chassis will go closer to the ground, but this ball joint will have the same position because it's determined by the size of the tire. So you will end up with something like this, a lower control arm over-centered. In this case, the ball joint is in compression, will go inside, which takes away additional camber. So it's not ideal to do that. So scrub radius is the distance between the center of the tire and the steering axis projected to the ground. I will make a better draw. So this axis will be this one, and this will be the tire. So the scrub distance is this distance here. On this suspension, because the strut is next to the tire, you can get it. You can get the tire further in to reduce this distance. So in this case, they tilt this one further to get a higher angle between these two, because the goal on this suspension is to minimize this distance, because it causes the steering to be heavy. And for those who use wheel spacers, keep in mind that this will screw your whole suspension geometry.